I'm now joined by the Catholic chaplain of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Father Chuck Dornquast. Father, thanks for being with us, and thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. It's a great privilege.
So, first of all, just tell me, what is it like, what does it mean to be the chaplain for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? What do you, I'm sure you say Mass, I'm sure you get to know some of the guys, but are you with them a lot? Is it mainly during football season? Just for those of us who don't know what it's like, it'd be great if you filled us in a bit.
Yeah, so I'd say in season, it's a lot of presence the night before the game and really leaning into that ministry of presence. So of course it's the liturgical, so celebrating Mass for the team. And then I'm really privileged to be able to spend time in the meeting hall and then also in our cafeteria to spend times at meals with these guys. And just so you know, like eating with NFL players is extraordinary. I feel normal when I'm with those guys at a meal. It's fantastic. But around the table, literally like sharing a meal, is where a lot of connection happens. So a lot of barriers kind of get broke down. A lot of conversations can begin to happen, and their family stories come out, and their faith life and how they came to be where they're at is where those things begin to be shared, and we find ourselves meeting in common ground. On game day, I'm really privileged to be able to be on the field pre-game, so I'm praying over the field, praying for the safety and the health of our players and the opposing team's players, and then talking to the coaches. If any players are wanting to come up and chat, we might do that pre-game. And then really, I've got a pass that gets me just about anywhere in Raymond James Stadium. So the last 2 seasons have really kind of taken upon as a ministry of presence going through the stadium. A lot of people are shocked when they see a young priest, and then when they see a young priest at a football game with maybe an occasional beer, they're really blown away by that. And so to be able to be a witness and to evangelize in that way, I'm amazed at the depth of conversations that have happened in that stadium, the way people have seen a priest, seen a collar, and really opened up. So it's been an extraordinary gift during the season.
I've been told, and maybe it's true or not, that there's a lot of faith on a football field. That you wouldn't expect that. You'd expect maybe outside looking in, you'd think these guys have everything. They've got everything the world could offer. So where's faith in their lives? But I've been told just the opposite, that there's a lot of faith on the football. Is that true?
It's absolutely true. In fact, I was just speaking to one of our former Buccaneers this last weekend at the game about his experience of faith and football. And they are incredibly faithful. There's a few guys who maybe by just sheer talent or willpower are able to survive and thrive in the NFL without faith. But we see the impact. Like we could probably name those players and those personalities who might live that way. The majority of these athletes, by the time they're 22, 23 years old, are making more than like $2 million a year. They're trying to navigate their families. They're trying to be the best that they can be on the field. There's a constant pressure around them. Everyone's analyzing and watching everything they do. If they make one small mistake in a game that costs them the game, with all of that pressure, they have found that what I've seen is that these athletes have found that to believe in a God who loves them in every single moment and to live out of that love, it's precisely what enables them to perform at such a high level, is because they recognize that Christ has already given them everything, already loved them. And so what they're doing on the football field is just a living out of the talents that they have and the gifts that they have and abilities. But it's ultimately not about them. At the games you can see after the national anthem, many players go back to the bench and they kneel and pray at the bench. Other teams I've seen during warm-ups, a large group of them will go to the end zone and kneel and pray. Those are the things you never see broadcast, and when you're at the games in the stadium, you're not paying attention to because there's something exciting happening on the Jumbotron. But when you take a chance or take a moment to notice like the prayerfulness of these guys, I've been blown away by that. When I first got into chaplaincy, that was one of my misconceptions was that so few of them would be faithful, so few of them would be Christian or would be religious, and it's the opposite. These guys are really quite faithful men. We have multiple Bible studies which happen throughout the year with the team, either between coaches and players, and then also coaches and players' wives, a Bible study for them. So really extraordinary, the faith life of these athletes and how they really lean on their relationship with Jesus in their lives.
Do you think that sports at the high level at which you witness them, at this level of excellence, that requires sacrifice, that requires trusting something else, is there a connection there? Do you see these guys saying, I get this principle maybe in a way that other people might not?
Absolutely. I don't know if, I think a good many of them, those who are like faith-based or live out their faith, they're going to recognize that connection of the importance of sacrifice. And I think almost part of me thinks like there's so much that the culture says that they get sacrifice, but they understand sacrifice for the sake of fitness. They understand sacrifice for the sake of the job. They understand sacrifice for the sake of moving forward in their career or whatever it is. Like people will starve themselves. They'll go to the gym 5 days a week. They'll only eat creatine, or they'll pay for the most expensive type of grass-fed meat. Like all these sacrifices people are willing to make for something that they can see, something concrete. The NFL players are the same. Like those men, they say no to so much, especially during the season. Coaches in particular. So we talk a lot about athletes. I'm blown away by the hours that our coaches put in and the sacrifices that they and their family make for the sake of a trophy, for the sake of the Lombardi trophy, for the sake of the Super Bowl. They really deeply understand sacrifice. I think a work for us as Catholic Christians is presenting life in Christ in such a way that people understand the reason for the sacrifice, to show what life in Christ looks like, the beauty of living in Christ, so that people say, I'm willing to lay down my life for that. I think it's hard. Like people, they'll sacrifice to go to the gym or to be top athletes or to have hardworking jobs because they can see the difference of the quality of life in that. I don't know if people always look at Catholic Christians and say, you know what, I want that type of life too. I don't know if they always see the joy in us. I don't see if they see us living with peace. I don't see if they see us living with a different level of life. And so it'd be really hard to sacrifice if I'm not seeing that example. But if we as Catholic Christians live that out and we evangelize and we're dynamic and we're loving and we're merciful and we're caring, gosh, I think we'd see people making sacrifice in buckets and droves.
So sacrifice is one of the negative sides of this, but some of the positives of whether seminary or NFL, one that jumps to my mind, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong about this, is a kind of camaraderie and brotherhood, which a lot of men just don't receive in other environments. They're just not out there. We become a very isolated culture. This is a common mantra of the situation we're in, people with their phones and that. This sense of brotherhood and the need to run with brothers through life strikes me as one of the blessings of professional athletes or any athletes in seminary.
Absolutely. And I'll have to say, especially so looking at the NFL and professional athletes, I kind of had an assumption that those guys would be lifelong friends in the sense, because they do spend so much time together. They do sacrifice a lot. And everybody kind of jointly is sacrificing a lot for the sake of a trophy. But ultimately, their goal is the Lombardi trophy. Their goal is a Super Bowl. That's a really like finite, small, tangible moment. And so after a season, like one or two of the guys, maybe a few might continue on in friendship and have some sort of depth. But it's not the friendship or fraternity that we would see as Catholic men are capable of. Like when men decide that the goal isn't just like fishing trips are awesome. I love fishing trip, or a hunting trip, or like those things are really fun. They're great, or a good golf outing. Like they're fun. They're a blast. But if that's the goal, is to have a good outing of that, that's not going to bond men. It'll be a short term. It'll be like, all right, we'll go at this. We'll go at it hard. We'll have this common goal, and that'll be fantastic. The same thing with the trophy. But when men decide, you know what, I want to be the best father that I can be, and I want to be holy, and I want to be less angry, and I want to be more kind and more forgiving, and I want to be an example of holiness to my sons, and I want to invite my sons into that life. When that becomes the goal that we strive for, then the depth of fraternity, of community and connection is extraordinary. But it means that a man has to be willing to allow himself to be challenged and to step into that place of being challenged. really, I think one of the biggest issues we have with men is that we're afraid that we don't have what it takes, especially young men. Part of it's like we've been kept safe. Young men have been kept safe their entire life. They've never had to learn whether they have what it takes or not. And so when they get into these challenging moments, they don't think they have what it takes, or they don't know. And so they don't rise to the moment. They don't engage with it. That makes community, fraternity really hard because you're not stepping out of yourself and stepping into something new. So when I work with my seminarians and guys who are discerning the priesthood, it's one of the things that I'm looking for, is are they really able to strive after something beyond themselves and to step out of themselves in humility, to step out of themselves to pursue that goal and to allow their lives to be changed because they're striving for that goal of holiness, of generosity.
Father Chuck, thank you for those great words, and thank you for your time. God bless you.
You're very welcome. Thank you.